Okay, the Planning Commission meeting of August 21, 2019 will come to order. All rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, call the roll.
Commissioner Tolson?
Here.
Commissioner Castleberry?
Here.
Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Mann?
Here.
Chairperson Hodge?
Here. Okay, may I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion was made by Commissioner Castleberry. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Tolson.
It was Commissioner Rice.
Well, he said it too.
Okay.
Did you? Am I getting this right?
No,
I
Commissioner Rice
seconded.
made the motion.
Okay, good. So a second was acclimated by, or rather, is acclamation for the second by Commissioners Tolson and Rice, and absent objection, the agenda will stand. I understand that we have no minutes this evening, so we can dispense with that. Declaration of conflict. The Secretary will read the declaration of conflict.
If any member of the Planning Commission may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time.
Are there any conflicts to declare? Seeing none, we'll proceed. Public statements. This is the time allotted for public statements on comments on all items other than public hearing items. I have no cards on agenda item number 7. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on something that is otherwise not on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, we'll pass on or continue. Consent calendar. We have no consent calendar.
No, it'd be a correspondence.
Commissioner Hodge.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Commissioner.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're here for 11A2? Oh, okay. Very good. You'll hear something of interest in just a moment. All right, so correspondence. Is there any correspondence from the Deputy Director, City Planner?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Hodge. 11A2 has been continued. The applicant in this case did not post the sign that is required for this project. When we notice a project, we notice it in about 5 different ways, including sign posting, mailings, agenda posting, putting on the website, and some other methods. In this case, the sign was not posted, therefore the item cannot be heard tonight. This item has been continued to a date certain of September 4th. We will not be sending out another mailing notice. The sign has been posted on the property as of today. The new meeting date has been indicated on the new sign, and we will continue with the SRO item on September 4th.
Okay, so the matter's been continued to September 4. We've already passed public comment, so you probably want to save your comments for September 4.
Well, we just have
They
hearing
already-
times and comments.
If she wants to make some comment, that's fine. I would prefer to hear now, side of caution. She can
Okay.
talk today.
Okay, that's fine. We will call that agenda item. You will be provided the opportunity to speak, but you understand that the item's been otherwise continued. Okay, very good. As a matter of fact, then what we might do, as we have done agenda review, but what I'm thinking is, since we're going to be continuing that item, and since rather than have you be forced to sit throughout the entirety of agenda item 11A1, perhaps without objection, we can amend the agenda to refer to that one first, and
Please.
that way you would have the opportunity to speak without having to wait. Okay? All right, very good. Okay. There is no continued business, public hearings. Wow. All right. So we're going to call agenda item 11A2, I believe. And that would be, so this is the agenda item which has been continued, but if you'd like to make any comments that you want right now, I believe I do have your card. And you're Ms. Hamoff?
Yes, I am.
Come down to the podium, to the microphone, please.
Good evening. I'm Sophie Heimoff. I'm an attorney with the firm Roseman Law. We are headquartered in Woodland Hills, and we represent the Marketplace Owners Association. We're here tonight because we would like to request that on behalf of the association, we would like to request that the Planning Commission set this agenda item for further out than September 4th in order to allow the members of the community and the association adequate time to conduct the research necessary regarding regarding the scope of these issues in order to evaluate the same.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, counsel, do you mind coming back to the podium just for a second? Counsel, if you don't mind, if you want to put your request in writing and address it to Stratis, the city's planner, and that way he can consider it and see about whether or not there will be a future continuance past September, the next date.
Okay, the city planner?
Yes.
Okay,
Mr.
great.
Stratis Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
All right. Very good. We'll now go to agenda item 11A1. This is the time and place set for a public hearing on the consideration of CUP S 817 and a determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Are there any ex parte communications to report? There are none. May we have an oral report of this matter by staff?
Thank you, Chairman Hodge. Senior Planner Sean Gibson is here tonight, and he'll be making the staff report.
Good evening. I'll wait for my screen to appear. Thank you. Good evening. The applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit to construct a 58,000 square foot industrial building located at the northern terminus of West Hills Court. The project site is located within the West End specific plan area and one of the few remaining vacant parcels west of Madera Road. The CUP is required within the specific plan area for warehousing and wholesale uses, but many manufacturing type uses would also be allowed by right if this building is approved. The project site is predominantly vacant but shares an access driveway with the building to the west and is partially developed with an existing parking lot previously used by the building to the west. The main access will be from West Hills Court. A second driveway behind the existing building to the west is also available, as well as a access driveway and a freeway overpass. All the public access will be from West Hills Court. The proposed site plan is shown here. The building entrances will be at the northeast, which is down here on the screen, and the southeast corners of the building, which could be split into one or two tenants. There are 8 truck loading bays located on the opposite side of the building. And there is a proposed new screen wall shown here in red, which will screen the loading dock area from the 118 freeway. The existing slope area at the back of the property provides screening from the rest of the freeway area. The freeway screen wall will be designed to match the building style, which is also an 8.5 foot tall proposed screen wall. The project site includes 116 parking spaces, of which 116 parking spaces are required for a manufacturing use. And of that 58,000 square feet, approximately 2,000 square feet of that is a mezzanine. The exterior building design is a concrete tilt-up design with beige and tan panels consistent with the specific plan, with blue accent panels, blue reflective glazing, and metal awnings. Horizontal and vertical reveal lines break up the building panels. The applicant chose an architect that designed 3 other recent projects in the Simi Valley. As shown here, the tilt-up design is very similar in nature to what has been previously approved by the Planning Commission. For landscaping, a minimum 15% landscaping is shown and provided on the site. To correct my wording in the staff report, the project contains 92 new trees, which will be dispersed throughout the site. There are 11 existing trees, most at the project entry, will be removed to accommodate the site redevelopment, including installation of the underground on-site detention facility. Several of those trees will be upsized to account for the mitigation of the loss of the existing mature trees. And there'll also be a significant tree row along the 118 freeway for additional freeway screening. The project entry is shown here, where the right-hand side of the image, those trees would be removed and mitigated with replacement value on the site. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve CUPS 817, and that concludes my presentation.
Questions of staff? Okay. We will open the public testimony portion of the hearing. Would the applicant like to present the project? I have a card from Bob Jacob.
My name is Jeff Anglada. I represent ESI Ventures, the developer. I'm going to introduce in just a minute Bob Jacob, who is going to present the project in more detail. But first, I would just like to say thank you for your time this evening. ESI Ventures is a family-owned and operated consumer electronics company based in Van Nuys, California, operating since 1980. We have over 200 employees there. Alongside that business, the family has been investing in communities throughout Southern California for the last, I'd say, the same amount of time, including the project that is here before you that Sean's presented so far. I have with me Bob Jacob, who I'm going to hand this over to in just a minute. Also James Wickenhauser from Thenis Engineers, and Bennett Robinson from CBRE, who has been diligently looking for employers to put into this building. So we're all available for questions, of course. As Sean mentioned, this is a team that predates me on the involvement of this project, and actually ESI Ventures, they're well familiar with this site, so should be able to answer any questions that you have. So thank you.
I have an important one. Could you restate your name, please?
Yes, Jeff Anglada.
Mr. Anglada?
Anglada, yeah. That's
Very
close.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Bob Jacob with HPA Architects, and I think we're going to get this. I had a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm going to blow through it pretty quick because Sean did such a good job presenting the project, so you're already familiar with it. But again, just to identify the team, ESI is the developer and the owner, HPA is the architect, Thenis Engineering, Emerald Design is the landscape architect. You're already familiar with the site from Sean's presentation, so I won't bore you with that one. Just some overall area. This is for the neighborhood committee meeting, but I'd like to focus your attention to the bottom center picture, because that's heading west or eastbound on the freeway. The site's kind of hidden with that overpass, and when I get to the site plan, I'm going to show you how we tried to screen that truck yard from the freeway and all the different sides. As Sean mentioned, it's possible we have 2 tenants on this building, both of them on the south, bottom right and left of the plan. Trucks will be coming in off the private street off of West Hills Court, and a large truck yard. The truck turning templates are shown on there. We've got the required Ventura County fire lane wrapping around the building. Floor plan, we talked about the elevations, earth tone architecture, all 4 sides, blue glazing, matches the blue ESI logo, and material board, a couple different colors of the tan. We talked about the planting with not 10 trees, but over 90. And some of the species of the trees. I wanted to point out here on the civil drawing, this is the grading plan. On the upper right-hand side of the site, the freeway elevation is about 8 to 10 feet higher than our truck courtyard. And then we have the screen wall on top of that. So when you're coming down the freeway, basically between the building, the screen wall, and that back hill, we've created a bowl where all the trucks and loading and all that takes place, so it's not visible from the public streets. Again, as Sean pointed out, the purple line is where the screen wall and gates are. And the project's set up to accommodate all different types of users instead of just distribution, trying to get manufacturing, a little higher end office, more high tech. So a lot of times what happens is if it's a high tech company, they won't need all those loading doors. We can restripe those areas and put additional auto cars in there because they'll probably only need 1 or 2. And just some of the different types of architecture. Sean pointed out a couple of other buildings we've done in this city to kind of give you an idea of what the flair of the building is. And who knows what the user is, but we're trying to design it to accommodate any type of user so that that would bring some buildings in there. Again, we're applying for the conditional use permit for the project. It's ESI has proposed a win-win, a state-of-the-art industrial facility, job creation, environmental studies have been done, multi-generational functionality, the second use, third use, flexible building. It's the highest and best use for that industrial area, a balance of employees and logistics for goods and manufacturing. And it's flexible to meet the market, both today and in the future. With that, we'll open it up for questions if you have any.
Questions for Mr. Jacobs?
I do. Is there any kind of request for like a monument sign of any kind for the 2 tenants there?
Not at this point.
Okay.
And if they do, they'll have a separate application. They'll probably go through the process.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to be heard on this matter? I have a card for Sal Kayani. Is there a Mr. Kayani in the act? You know what? That was 11A2 as well. Very good. So I have no cards. Is there anyone wishing to be heard? All right. Okay. Are there any comments from staff regarding statements made during the public hearing?
No.
All right. So the applicant need not respond because no one else spoke. So I doubt that you'd have a whole lot to say. If there are no further questions, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. Are there any questions or comments from members of the Planning Commission?
I have no questions, just comments for the end.
Okay.
No questions.
All right, no questions. Very good. Comments?
So as we've seen with a lot of the industrial projects, it's beautifully designed. I'm happy to see more trees being planted than are being removed. That definitely is a good bonus for me. It fits perfectly with the West End specific plan. I'm glad to see it being built out. And I say it every time, I'm just happy to see more jobs here in Simi. I mean, I think this project means more jobs for us, and that's all good to me.
I agree with Commissioner Castleberry, and I also appreciate the types of trees that are being planted. I think they're the right kind of trees to be planted in that particular location, especially the ones that you designed along the freeway. I think that's going to be perfect. Those are going to be nice, big trees. That's going to be great. And even though it's a small thing, I appreciate the optimism of 21 bicycle spots rather than the 6 required. So thank you.
I just think it's a great project. I think thanks to the staff to putting this together properly and working with them. And I think it's a good use for filling a need for our city.
Commissioner Mann?
Oh, more is less. I mean, it's a great project. It's very well done, very well designed. It's a perfect project for that location. So my comments are compliments for the designers, the developers, the architects, and the landscape architect did a great job over and above what they needed to do. So thank you.
Yeah, this project reminds me of sort of the adage that you hear sometimes about how, preparation before a game can mean that you have to sweat a lot less during the game. And so you came here, apparently have done your homework. I appreciate it very much. Obviously, you've heard what everybody else had to say. I usually have lots of questions. I had no questions because it's a really well-designed project, and it's perfect for the location. It's sensitive to, I agree with some of the other commissioners about sort of going above and beyond, the trees, I don't know about the parking, maybe one day you'll want to turn that into something else, but, I mean, the bike parking rather, not the parking numbers. But it seems optimistic, but who knows? I mean, the world is changing. So, my attitude is congratulations on a well-designed project. As far as getting tenants like that, I don't know if you're working with with the city economic development persons, and then we have certain persons, and I'm not going to do any advertising for them from here. We have persons who do commercial real estate in town, and they come and they say they have lots and lots of people contacting them regarding just exactly this kind of space. So Mr. Peros knows who that person is, and you can contact them if you already don't have that information. I'll bet you do. So I suspect that you won't really have any difficulty finding good tenants, and by good tenants I mean people who are going to be successful and will provide just exactly what we're hoping to find with that property. And I congratulate you again on the project. And with that, may I have a reading of the resolution?
Resolution number SVPC 12-2019, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley approving conditional use permit number CUPS 817 and the determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Chair will now entertain a motion.
I move to accept this.
I'm going to take a look at number 14.
Excuse me. I move to adopt the resolution approving CUP-S-817.
Motion was made by Commissioner Tolson. May I have a second?
I second the motion.
Second made by Commissioner Castleberry. Call for the vote. The motion passes. The appeal period for CUPS 817 is 14 days. Proceed to the next item, which you don't have. Congratulations and good luck. Okay. Oral communications and reports. Does staff have anything to report?
Thank you, Chairman Hodge. Unfortunately, we had to continue one item tonight, which potentially makes our September 4th meeting a very long meeting, a very long agenda. We have about 4 items tentatively scheduled for that evening, and I know some of these are going to take quite a lot of time to go through. So we do appreciate your patience on that night, and we do have quite a series of projects coming up before you over the next few weeks. Since they're here, I figured I'd single them out. This is a monumental week for us in the Planning Division. We've had a lot of recent retirements, and 2 of our newest planners have joined us today. And I wanted to point out Associate Planner Cesar Hernandez, who was formerly an employee here with the city, and he has returned after working at some other jurisdictions. And so we're very, very grateful to have Cesar. And Narin, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, Narin, my apologies, Gunasekera, very close to that. he's our new assistant planner, and he's worked in the private sector for a number of years and has recently joined us, and he's infusing us with a lot of good energy. So welcome to both of them. Very grateful to have them on board, and they'll be making presentations here before you know it.
And as Sean will confirm, the meetings are usually just as smooth as this.
We've spoiled them.
We'll see September 4th.
Otherwise, no other communications.
Do any commissioners have anything to report? Mobile Home Rent Mediation Board?
Nothing tonight?
Tree Advisory Board?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, this concludes the meeting of August 21, 2019. The next scheduled meeting is September 4, 2019. The meeting is adjourned.
As always, it's a pleasure, gentlemen.
Well, yeah.